If I were to say one thing out loud, and I would caution the charismatics of not overstating being biased against the female that's being questioned and challenged and accused by relatives. I'd be very careful because there is such a thing in that movement, because I've been in the subculture too long, over 30 years, studied it, and now teach on it, and its celebrity out in all the fruit. I would say be cautious against white and white bias, because there is such a thing as an anti-she vibe that runs throughout that popular, very famous, going after that woman. They're always doing it. It's the patriarchy of ministry in that crowd, the mega crowd, major crowd. I'm not saying mega, I didn't mean politics, but in the major crowd that throws stones, they usually, I've watched somebody today that said they're going to interview the lady, and they said it in a way, well, I wouldn't even say it because I don't identify this person, but, it was like they were going to interview out of obligation. But they didn't want to, because even though they never met her, they tried her and said she's guilty, just the way they put it. I'm not going to do this, but I got to do it. That, I call it down. That is ministry, tabloid. It is gossip fodder. It is plain old dysfunction. That type of thing. It's the fruit. By the fruit. It's not partial. It's not impartial. It is partial. It's got mindsets. And see, there is the thing with generations to now. You can see a lot of people in the younger generations cut their mothers off. They will not speak. They will let there are people all on TikTok, all the line, people that will just, that's out there. It is cool to be tragic and the victim. Why? I think the moms were too busy putting food on the table, taking good care of them, pampering them, and now they reaped this. I don't know that situation over there. I'm not throwing stones. When I heard the youth, he sounded humble, but I'm not involved in that. I'm just not a charismatic. This is why I am pro the people and the remnant. And I have been, but I have been targeted by them too much to not say something, that you go in there with a very self-righteous and, anti-woman bias, anti-big mama, maybe people don't like their mamas. I've wondered. I didn't come from that. I'm a Baptist at heart, from the type of flavor of respect, that you don't have to get all this finery. You don't have to have all this achievement, ambition. You don't have to get into all the rigmarole, rat race, putting down people so you look better. And it really does bother me. And I'm just going to say it. I've been behind the 8 ball with not knowing it, with playtime dogma that had gotten so controlling and so psychic, as you show up as a visitor, even though you've been around longer than them, some of these, but also we've been around this turf since Jesus people was born, since Jesus people times. So you can see a difference in the demeanor of Christians. You can see the growth of media, of worship, of packaging, presentation. We're for that. I like it. But it's the gossip mill, in China, dare I say it. They had a few years ago that they were targeting people on purpose, using media, singling out somebody and target them. This is what you're doing. Same thing. Same spirit. And this is the Christian anti-Christian. The Antichrist on the Christian, in the Christian, getting their funding by making monetized, salacious, speculative gossip. Now, on this media, there are tons of scandals. Some are famous people, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the Christian, anti-Christian, that they are using it for funding. It's the funding. I would caution, I would respect you if you cut off your numbers and you then let people, when you got a bunch of numbers there, tens and hundreds of thousands, people think, oh, good, juicy gossip, I'm going to tune in, and that's the deal. That's the drill. That's how they know how to play it to get money. It is the new form of prosperity teaching, bashing and maligning the older version. It's the new form because the human hearts are still the same. They're playing the same games. They've got the same dogma except in different packaging. Sometimes it's prettier, sometimes it's older, sometimes it's newer, but nothing is new under the sun, says King Solomon. So when I'm watching, I don't see Billy Grahamish use of media, of teaching. So I've named this genre, and I have a series right now called Identifying the Gossip Ministries. How can you tell true, wholly true, and false? There's media, and then there's scandal media. There's Holy Spirit anointed teaching media, whether you're charismatic or not. There is playtime. There is Demas. What is Demas? Paul mentioned the young man Demas. He said Demas has left the ministry because he loved the things of this world more, and that's what I'm getting about. Dysfunction, but fundraising off of profiting after pursuing, targeting, writing articles about people is the same old capitalistic Demas that is bored with the Bible. They don't want to talk about the cross. They don't want to talk about the love of God. They want to expose people, black, white, and brown, old and young, and a lot of younger ones, doing it to the elders. That's where I'm writing the series on my websites, abidingrelationshiptheology.com, ministryai.com, TavoCreativeLeadership.com, TavoLeader.com, onlinefellowship.us, PurePropheticPrinciples.com. I'm just putting it all up there to get it out. Like sands, remember the old, way back when they had some old, somebody I was with, and they were watching these old soap operas years ago, and it says, so are the sands in the hourglass. These are the days in our life. These are the sands in the hourglass. We're using it for this, to be the victim, not the victor. I can't, like I say, I can turn on YouTube, social media, and look for a good word of the Lord with the healing virtue, the good word of the Lord, and worship. But you can't now. You just have to fight all the headlines. You have to fight all the trash. Oh, the latest expose, the latest gossip. That is it's really bad. And if you go to some of these churches, they're divining you. They don't want to speak. They just want to read you. That is my worst. That's why I'm out of it. A lot of these reasons are charismatic. Every one of them almost. But yet, not every charismatic individual. They've got many good things. I have been honored to be with some of it. It's when the false doctrine got creepy and dysfunctional, didn't want certain kinds of people. It got biased, dogmatic, and psychic, carnal, but psychic Demas, turf guarding, property owning of the people. That's when we got out. We're correcting it. We've paid our dues. We've spent our time, and we know true and false. But there's not one leader who is not perfect or imperfect. I am not perfect or imperfect. All of us got human in us. So that's why I don't accuse you, name your name. I might name your movement. If I name your movement, it's because I've seen too much at the grassroots, but at the foundational level where people go to church. But do I dare call out the head leader of those movements? No. I honor the bishop. I honor the bishop Hammond. I honor the different ones of the whelp. I honor them. Because I've never walked a mile in their shoes. I don't think they do that. Do they do it? It's the people who say they're under them that capitalize and profit from being under them and saying, oh, we're under so-and-so famous. Whether it is a word of faith don't do it, but their people could if they get in the wrong crowd in the grassroots. LP is everywhere. This charismatic prophetic is the top. NAR, Gates of the City Apostles, is the biggest one, but do I know the founder? No. Do I think C. Peter Wagner started it with his book? No. He's gone to heaven. I'm not bashing him. The people take it wrong and make income. That is the bottom line with all this dysfunction. God bless you. He loves you. This is Tavo D'Arcy, Isaiah 1:18 for everybody. Bye.